I'm Travis Bader, and this is the Silvercore Podcast. Silvercore has been providing its members with the skills and knowledge necessary to be confident and proficient in the outdoors for over 20 years, and we make it easier for people to deepen their connection to the natural world. If you enjoy the positive and educational content we provide, please let others know by sharing, commenting, and following so that you can join in on everything that Silvercore stands for. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a member of the Silvercore Club and community, visit our website at silvercore.ca. So I'm joined today by a man who has a mission. 2025, it's his goal to be able to run across Canada and break the world record for doing that. He's got a website. It's sachinmotion.ca. SACHINMOTION.ca. He's raising money for Honor House to raise awareness for PTSD and for veterans. Welcome to the Silvercore Podcast, Sachin Latti.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Holy crow. So I get this message from longtime supporter of Silvercore and the Silvercore Podcast, Jared Scaffinetti.
Yep.
So he worked up until recently at the Range Langley, Canada's largest indoor range. And he sends a message over. He's like, Travis, are you following the stories that Sachin has on Instagram? And I'm in the middle of a few other things. And I go over to it, and there's a slew of stories up. And I go click, 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 click. And one of them, there's Jared wearing a Silvercore hat, and he's sitting down with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's what he said. He's like, hey, look at me, I'm wearing some swag. And so I'm text him back real quick. I'm like, hey, looking sharp. He's like, no, not me. Sachin, listen to what he has to say. So I started going through there, seeing what you're doing. Very, very ambitious. So you've got 18 years in law enforcement, and you're obviously very fit. You're looking very fit.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And you've got a number of runs that you've already gotten under your belt, 100 kilometers at a time, and you're building up to 2025 to do this rather ambitious run across Canada. So that'd be from Newfoundland Terry Fox statue over to Vancouver Terry Fox statue. I think the current record on that is 67 days, 10 hours, and an undisclosed number of minutes by a guy by the name of Dave Proctor.
Yeah, exceptional guy named Dave Proctor.
Have you talked with him?
I have not. I have a few friends that have.
Okay.
And they've nothing but glowing comments about the guy.
Right.
And like an awesome person. Just a good person, like a nice person.
Well, Jared was thinking, he says, everything you're trying to do with the Silvercore Podcast, you're trying to spread positivity, raise awareness, people who enjoy the outside world, as you do. I mean, running's not an indoor activity unless you got a treadmill, right?
Yeah, and it's not as fun.
No. What culminated? What caused this spark in you to light?
That's a long story, and it's a good question for sure. I'd say it probably all started right before the pandemic kicked.
Okay.
So I was married.
Okay.
And I was going through a separation and a divorce. And I would say I was probably the squeaky wheel in that marriage. So it caused me to unplug and reflect on a lot of things that I contributed to. And I came to the realization that I wanted to just be a better person.
Okay.
And be a better person for everyone around me. So that's what started things in terms of like just wanting to have a better, more positive outlook on things.
So I got to imagine that there is going to be a gradual decline in your outlook on life at that time. I mean, that it's going to take its toll. And it's funny. We were talking about this earlier before the podcast, that for a podcast that deals with hunting, fishing, outdoors, the people and businesses that comprise a community, how many times mental health comes up in just our discussions? And I don't think it's an unusual thing to what I'm doing here on the podcast. I think everybody's dealing with something to one degree or another. And I think the pandemic and the stressors associated with that have helped amplify that. Where were you at? Like what?
Oh man, holy moly! Worst time of my life.
Yeah.
Mentally, for sure, because I was presented with what kind of person I was, and I wasn't happy with that. So I mean, look, the reality was I wasn't. I thought I was a good husband. You know, I was going through the motions, paying the bills, taking care of my dog, all these types of things.
Sure.
But I wasn't engaged into the marriage. And good or bad, I stepped out on various occasions, and my ex-wife didn't deserve any of those things. She's a good person, awesome mother. And I felt extremely terrible because I'm not that guy. And I started asking myself questions. What's going on here? Why am I self-destructive? And that was just one element of the self-destructive behavior. I had many, many, many other ones.
I think we all do to some degree or another, don't we? And you got to question, why is that? What is it that draws a person in to be self-destructive? Like, I guess not everybody's like that. Some people are really good at being able to identify, and some people, certain paths start going down and they have a hard time stopping, regrouping, turning around and picking a different path.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, my ego was out of control. I had a inflated ego, and an ego that was my self-worth and self-confidence. All these things were not really where they should have been, or at least where I would have wanted them to be.
Right.
And so I inflated my ego to a degree that was like, holy moly, this is out of control ego. I thought I knew everything.
Kind of like a protective mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just
absolutely
put the armor up and can't be hurt.
And that's how I functioned throughout my entire life. Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine, Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
And he was...
We know Sean.
Yeah, well, he's more than a friend for me, but he was mentioning to me that he was straight up told me, your ego's inflated, and you've just never been challenged throughout your entire life, and you've kind of navigated through that, and it's actually protected you, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, long story short, I didn't really know how to kind of get out of the mess that I created. I was just stuck in it. Like I was stuck.
Right.
And I didn't have any idea how to get out of it. So at the time, I didn't really have any safe spaces either. So like in terms of where I was living. So when we were going through the divorce, it was during the pandemic, and we had a basement suite. So we didn't want anyone else to rent it because they could squat and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Blah. So I ended up moving into the basement suite of the house that I bought with my ex-wife and was paying rent for 2 years with my daughter living upstairs. And it just was an uncomfortable environment to be in for a long duration of time. And at that time, I was also working, obviously, and the pandemic was in full effect, and our workplace was doing a sort of a work rotation where not everyone would be in the workplace all the time. So you would be on work for a couple of weeks, and then you would work from home for a couple of weeks, or like things of that nature, right?
Right.
So when I'd be sitting at home, I'd be in the basement suite, and I'd be by myself the entire time, and I wasn't going out, and I was starting to wallow and really get really deeper and deeper and deeper into the toxic thinking that I was in. And at that time, I was still working out, still working. I was still doing everything, but I was keeping it together just by the skin of my teeth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I hadn't started running at this point yet, and I had started buying some books. I wasn't a huge reader.
Okay.
Actually, I wasn't a reader. I mean,
Really?
Not like I would imagine you or Sean Taylor or Seb Lavoie or these types of people. I wasn't.
I'll tell you a secret on reading. I don't know if it's a byproduct of the ADHD or what. I've got about 30 books on the go right now. Not one of them is finished, and not all of them are started on chapter 1. Right? It's just all through there, and I go real quick, try and find what's going to keep that interest, where's the value, and then the second that kind of wanes, I'm on to the next one. And at some point, I'm sure I'll complete them all, but Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like that now.
Okay.
I'm kind of like that now.
Yeah.
So I don't have that many books on my table, but I have them on my coffee table. I got about 10 or 15 books there.
Right.
And in the morning when I have coffee, I'll just grab one and just kind of peruse through it. And depending on what I'm feeling at the moment, I might just stick with, like, lately it's been a mental health book I've been reading.
Okay.
Just my mood, whatever it is,
Sure.
I'll just pick it up. But now, having said that, at that time when I was going through all the mess,
Yeah.
I was like, shit, man, what do I gotta do? So I went, and I'm all in type of fella, right?
You strike me as an all-in type of fellow.
And I obsess and things like that. And so I went on a rabbit hole with Jordan Peterson for a while.
Okay.
And then I went on a rabbit hole with Jocko Willink for a while. And then I picked up Extreme Ownership and I read that.
Okay.
And so after reading that book, I took some ownership of a few things in my life. And I wanted to own my responsibility in the marriage and what I did. So we had a nice house. I wanted my daughter to have a nice house too.
Right.
So, my ex-wife and my daughter are in the house, and I'm happy that they're there. Financially, it didn't work out for me in that regard, but I'm absolutely ecstatic on how it turned out now after a couple years have passed. Now,
Okay.
So I read Extreme Ownership,
Yeah.
so I own that. And then, I read a few more books, and then I picked up Can't Hurt Me, Goggins' book, David Goggins.
And sorry to interrupt here, but isn't it funny how your life can completely change the second you own whatever it is that's happening to you? Like we were talking about something earlier before the podcast, and you're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry that that happened." I said, "Why?" And once you're able to fully own whatever it is that's happening to you, you author your own destiny.
Yeah. Well, I'm experiencing that in real time now,
Cool.
right? So, like, even in this conversation, I might have a revelation or come to a realization of something, because that's been happening to me regularly when I speak to people. And I see things. When I start talking, I start realizing things in that moment sometimes.
We are connected in a very interesting way. Humans, that is. I'm learning that more and more. The more podcasts we do, there's an interconnectivity to these different things that I don't think is by happenstance or coincidence, and is probably very likely due to how we start changing our outlooks and how we start comporting ourselves and thinking. And you find that birds of a feather start to flock together, and your circles tend to change, and how you're able to actually affect what happens to you in real time, like you're saying, becomes very tangible.
And I agree 100%. I'm seeing that. I'm experiencing it right now. My circle is changing. My friends of 18 years are no longer around me, and no negativity to anybody. It's just the way the reality is. You know?
change.
Yeah, people change, evolve, and move in different directions. And
Some change with you. Some don't.
some
That's
don't.
okay.
And I think on the path that I'm on, most people, I don't know, like it might be a lonely journey for a couple more years for me, I suspect. I don't know. It's all uncertain, to be
Sure.
honest. Anyway, so I was reading that Goggins book. Full disclosure, I read the first 2 chapters. And I didn't finish it, but I got enough what I wanted out of it at that moment.
Right.
And what I got out of it was like, well, it resonated with me because some of the experiences that he had as a child. And then resonated with me because my ego was very inflated.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah. I fashioned myself. I thought I was an individual like that. And like I wanted to be something like that. And,
Right.
And so I was like, okay, so what do I not like to do? And I don't like running. And I hadn't ran since high school. I'm 44 now. Last time I ran was when I was 17, 18 years old.
Sure.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And I was a bodybuilder too before, right? So I was lifting lots of weights back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was doing, and for 5 or 6 years I've been training jiu-jitsu, so I thought my cardio was decent, so I never really ran. And so I started, and I didn't have any frame of reference. I didn't know what I was doing. And as an individual myself, I don't connect with people often. I haven't in the past, right? I was just a really, like I had friends.
Sure.
But
You're an individual.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. And so I scheduled myself to do like 3 5Ks a week, right? Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of thing. And, again, I had no frame of reference. My times were what they were, and they weren't exceptional or anything, but I didn't know what was exceptional. It was like 35, 40 minutes for a 5K. Okay, whatever.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And, but I stuck with it. I don't know why I stuck with it. I just did.
Was it difficult to stick to, or
It was
was
extremely difficult.
okay?
I wasn't a runner. And
Do you think that might be why you stuck with it?
it's a good question. Let me think about that. Yeah, there's a possibility of that, I think, because I've never quit anything. Physical.
Sure.
Physically, I've never quit anything.
Right.
And so there's an element of that. And I saw it as a problem, and I was trying to solve the problem. So like, for example, let's say, I'm running and my glutes are tighter than normal and I don't know what's going on here. And so I'll problem solve it. Okay, maybe instead of quitting, I would say, okay, maybe I need to do this to help relieve that issue. Just kind of problem solve it.
Right.
And I kept doing that. And so, but mind you, again, no clue. So I would first ran with like a 10-year-old pair of shoes, right? And then, I was using those shoes for the first couple months.
Right.
And they were 10 years old.
Yeah.
Now that might sound normal for everyone, but it's absolutely not.
Not for a runner. No.
No, absolutely not. So I started within about 2 months, and I'm a goal type of guy. So I like setting goals all the time. And so I set a goal for me right at the beginning, and I was like, okay, I want to be able to run 21K now. So I went and ran 21. It wasn't pretty. It was pretty ugly.
Yeah.
And after I'd done that, as you can imagine, going through the divorce and separation, my self-esteem, my confidence, my self-worth, all the things were in the dumps. Mm-hmm. And I felt like a piece of garbage, to be honest.
I can see that.
And, I was really alone because most of my friends weren't really engaging with me and didn't really kind of understand me. So I was, I was running and I was doing these things, and I ran this 21K, and I felt really good about doing that. It made me feel good about myself.
Right.
Because I did something that no one told me to do. No one forced me to do it. I got up and did it. And something that I never thought in a million years I would even do. And that gave me something.
But that wasn't enough.
No. It wasn't.
As we're going through here, I have a question that the second that I started looking at what you're doing, I'm going to save it for a little bit.
Okay.
Because you've got a story here that you're telling, and it's interesting. Like you were talking before about the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Right. I remember, I think Joseph Conrad referencing the hero's journey, and what did he write? Heart of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is based on the hero's journey. So many different things are based on the hero's journey, and what you're telling right now is very similar.
It's very similar, extremely similar, and I didn't even know that it was even like I didn't know hero's journey was even a term until I started reading and I started talking to my friend Sean.
Yeah,
and I did that, and I was like, oh, cool. And there's also stories behind me doing it, but I mean, I don't want to get in the weeds about that kind of stuff. But the 21K, it drove me, and I did that. And then I said I wanted to set more goals,
okay,
and I wanted to achieve higher goals. And so I just kept kind of grinding it out. Jiu-jitsu, because of the pandemic, jiu-jitsu was kiboshed.
right.
So then I took another dive because, as you can imagine, or some of your listeners might understand that. When you're dealing with some mental health issues, depression, or whatever the thing is, connection is an extremely important piece, connecting with people, not being alone. And jiu-jitsu was that for me. And when I was going to jiu-jitsu, even though I wasn't hanging out with my friends or anything like that, jiu-jitsu was that for me. Mm-hmm. And I would go to hang out with my friends, my partners and training partners, and I would connect with them. And that was taken away because of the pandemic, and that was a hot mess for me. I broke down. I was crying, like legitimately, just broke down. And
Based on the lack of social human connection.
it got to a point where I was so alone, I just wanted to hug somebody.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, man, just thinking about it, it makes me feel not good.
I hear it.
I would call a friend of mine and be like, hey, can I just come over for a hug or something? That's how freaking terrible I was feeling.
Right.
And
man,
yeah, it was a rough go. And so anyways, I like I said, I set goals, and I listened to podcasts, and I was trying to learn as much as I could from different areas. And like most people, a lot of people listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, or some people anyway. And I was listening to his.
I've heard he's got a podcast. It's pretty good, I've heard.
It's all right.
Is it popular?
It's decent. He had this kind of cool guy on there that I was listening to, Cameron Haynes.
Yeah.
And I've obviously heard Cam Haynes quite a few times on his podcast, but this particular moment kind of really stuck with me because he's in his 50s, and when he's training for an ultra, he's running a marathon a day, and I was like, forget that.
At
I
50.
can do that.
Yeah.
Or why can't I do that?
Well,
I should be able to do that.
Well, one man can do, another can do.
Right. So that's what I was thinking, right?
Right.
So like it was, if I didn't know that was a thing, I wouldn't even know it was a thing. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So now I know it's a thing.
I brought it on the radar.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, how do I do that? How do I get myself to run 42K a day? Okay, let me think about it. So then I set up a plan to do that. Or not, that would have been very lofty at the very beginning. So the initial goal was to do 21K a day for 7 days.
That's still pretty lofty.
Yes. So I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't hire anyone. The whole first year was me just grinding and figuring it out all on my own. Not smart at all.
Did you sustain injuries through that process?
Nothing substantial.
Okay.
Nothing substantial. Little things here and there, but nothing crazy. And so I set a goal to do that, and it took me about 10 weeks. So I would do 10K a day. No, it started with 11. I started with 11K a day, and every week I would add a kilometer to it. So it would go 11, 12, 13 until to 21K. And then I got to 21K, and I did that for the week. And again, it wasn't pretty, but I did it. I was working full time, still going to work every day.
Wow.
A daughter who was 3 or 4, going through a divorce, going through all these things, and I still did that. So for me, that was like, oh man, it made me feel good.
Totally.
That I was able to accomplish something like that. And then I was still at work, so some of the people I was working with were seeing that, right? And they're like, holy shit, right? What's going on here?
Right.
And so then, but again, I was in my own head, doing my own thing. And then I started thinking, there's got to be a way that we can leverage this for more positivity. Because I'm doing something now here. I'm running. There's something, it just came to my head. I got to do something here. And I don't know why that came up. I don't know the reason why I was thinking about that, but it just did. And I decided to run 100K and raise money for the BC Yukon Legion for veterans and first responders, RCMP with PTSD. And never fundraised in my entire life.
Right.
Never did anything for anyone else other than my job, which isn't really, it is doing something for other people, but there's levels, I think.
Sure.
And I didn't look at my job as that, as service. Like,
You're in the service industry,
right.
but you're still getting paid for it. It's still a job.
Yeah, and it's different. It's a different thing.
It's not quite as selfless.
Right. And it got to the point where I was going in for a paycheck, essentially. You know what I mean? I had lost my...
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I lost my purpose. I was disillusioned, all these things.
So that's an interesting one you bring up on purpose, and that's going to allude to my question.
Oh, you got it, bro. I got it all full for you. So I started now. So I set that essentially the 100K and the raising the money is another goal, right? So I set that goal, and I was like, okay, I want to do that for Remembrance Day. It's going to be called Run to Remember. It was on the 7th of November, 2021. And I started fundraising in August of 2021.
Okay.
And from August to September, I raised $21,000. And
Holy
never, ever in my life ever doing anything like that. And it was all through social media. And it was and then from word of mouth from other people. And then eventually Global News ended up doing a story on me.
I saw that, yes.
And they did a couple stories or whatever, and which was extremely helpful to get the word out.
Sure.
Because maybe a day before the story went out, we were at about $8,000-9,000. And then within a week, it was like boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
After the news.
Wow.
And so I want to thank Rumina Dea for that, because she was instrumental and connected with me, and she wanted to get the story out there at that time.
Awesome.
And so again, trying to plan the run, doing the run, all these different things happening all at the same time, under a lot of stress. And I ran from Chilliwack, PRTC, I ran from PRTC to Vancouver Airport.
That's going to be 100K right there.
Yeah, and I did that in 14 hours and 58 minutes.
Wow.
I pulled my hamstring the week before, and so luckily it was manageable. But I got it worked on and everything, so it did that, and that changed my entire perspective on. It gave me a significant paradigm shift in perspective on everything.
How so?
My friend Seb says something all the time, and I like to say it sometimes too. Meaningful things with meaningful people.
Yes, he does say that, doesn't he?
Yeah, and so I wanted more meaning in my life. I felt it just didn't have any meaning, man. I felt just like I was just not doing anything. I was just kind of living a life. I was waiting to die. You know, when you see people like just they're going paycheck and doing their thing, and they're not really doing anything. It's just it's a sad life, right?
It's what's the term? NPC. Have you heard that one?
No.
People call a person an NPC. It's a video game term. They say they're a non-playable character.
Oh, okay.
Right? They're there.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
The story's not about them.
Yeah, and I just wanted more meaning in my life. And yeah, I had a daughter, and I have a daughter, and I love her to
Sure.
everything, and but for me, that's not my purpose. Isn't my daughter, right? She's my daughter, and I love her, but she's got her own purpose, and I have my own purpose.
Yeah.
And so I've seen my parents and other family and cultures and whatever, and their purpose was me and my brother. And what I've noticed when my parents put all their things into us, it gave too much of a pressure, or it was too much. You don't have your child as your purpose, because now your happiness is derived through your child. When you're the one who's supposed to control all of your own happiness, all of your own joy. So I realized that over the last 6 months, that I love my daughter, but she's not the source of my happiness. I am.
Right.
And
it has to be that way. You should never give away, what's the term? Abrogate, control. You should, of your joy or your pain to a third party. I'm happy because you came here today. I'm upset because you did this. Well, no, I'm upset because I choose to be upset. What you did was something that I may have taken offense to, but that's me taking offense. That's me taking those points. And if we give a third party, the ability to make us happy, we are by default giving them the control to make us sad.
Absolutely. And I never realized that before. So I lived a life kind of like that. And then slowly over the last 2 or 3 years, I've kind of been shifting out of that. But anyway, so I ran that 100K, and I was definitely changed my life and the way I looked at things. But I was extremely desperate still. Very, very dark. And I didn't know what to do with my life.
Did you recognize as dark, or do you look back and recognize it as being dark? Because I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, when I was in it, I just figured I was in it. I was just going through the motions, and things are rough. But when I look back because everything's balanced, right? The whole yin and yang. When you can see light, and you can see the darkness and how bad it is by comparison, right?
No, I knew I was messed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew, man. I got medicated. I had a major depressive episode. I had to go to the doctor, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Like I was not good. Yeah. And I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that anything wrong with that, but for me it was very strange. Like there was a period of time I wasn't sleeping. And my stress levels were out of control. I had multiple injuries because of the stress. Tore my bicep complete off. And
tore it off. Holy crow! Yeah, you can see that.
Multiple different things that were, and I 70% tore my tricep tendon.
You just pushing too much weight?
It wasn't even that. No, the stress was so high, cortisol levels so high that any sort of little small movements while I was training jiu-jitsu, but nothing excessive.
Right.
And things like that would happen.
Wow.
So I wasn't sleeping much. I was sleeping 2 or 3 hours a night. The anxiety was just overwhelming, man. Like I couldn't stop thinking. It got to the point where I was like, man, I need to, I never really did much cannabis or smoked or anything like that. And I would start doing edibles just to turn down the volume in my head. It wasn't so much getting me high. Like I would, when I was even, and this is while I'm still running, mind you.
Right.
I would take a 20 milligram or a 30 milligram like edible and run.
Wow.
Not because I want to feel high, it's because I would be thinking too much. So I wanted to turn the volume down so I could actually just get a 2-hour run in or an hour and a half run in. So that's how messed up I was. Because now none of that needs to happen.
Does running help turn the volume down?
Absolutely, it does. But at that point,
It was just too much.
It was too much.
Yeah.
It was just too much, and like a major depressive episode for me. I was like, "What is going on here, man?" Like I was like shaking at the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we got the medication, and that was a trip for me because I never take those types of medications before, and it
Doesn't it have such a stigma? I never take those types of medications. Even just talking about it like that, there's a stigma associated with it.
Actually, you know what? And let me rephrase that or reframe it because you're absolutely right. And I think there's nothing wrong with taking medication if it's required for a certain period of time to help you get situated, right? And I needed medication at that time.
Sure.
Absolutely. And it helped. The first week didn't. It was terrible. If you've ever had any medication like that, the doctor goes to listen to this, man. The doctor goes, "Yeah, you're gonna have some side effects, 4 or 5 days, blah 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 blah." And like they always say that, and I'm like, "Okay, cool, I can handle it." No way, man. Kicked me in the ass.
Really?
Bad.
Huh.
Like never.
Like just amped up the.
No. So the side effects were nausea, headache, extremely lethargic. Like I was tired all the time for like 4 or 5 days, and then it just stopped.
Huh.
It was like just a chemical imbalance. Like, I guess the chemicals that are going through the brain, they're just restructuring things, and it took about 4 or 5 days for it to kind of climatize.
Right.
And then it just
Like a SSRI or something?
yeah, something. It was. I'll tell you what it was. Cymbalta.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I that happened, and I'm still lost. And then lucky for me, not a lot of people, just some very special people. So my friend Seb, he's been a friend of mine for about, 4 years or so. And I saw him it was last year, just after the run. I saw him and Sean Taylor go to Haiti.
That's right. Yes.
And I was at work still at the time. And they had come back from Haiti, and I saw Seb with this guy. Who's this guy? Like, maybe a few months before that, I found out who he was. Maybe in the summertime, and around that time, I'm like, who is this guy? So I go to his Instagram, and I'm like, Tier 1 operator, warrant officer, bumbling my way through life, blah blah blah. I'm like, holy shit! Okay, let me take a look at this guy. And so I was tracking him a little bit, see who he was, and I've been around, and I know what JTF2 is, and I know what he is and who he is, and understood the caliber of that type of individual and what they may be before I met him. And so anyways, and then while I was doing the runs before the November 7th, he would, message me, or I'll message him, and he'll say, "Oh yeah, good," whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And so
That's part of what he does now still is he coaches high performance athletes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to connect with him because I thought I could connect with someone. Like I thought maybe I could connect with a Tier 1 operator, maybe because something's a little bit different about me, and I'm doing really excessive stuff. Maybe there's a connection there. So when he was at the airport, his flight got canceled to Roslyn because of the weather. It was a snow or whatever it was. It was snowing.
Right.
So I saw that he likes to post on his Instagram frequently. I think he's in and around 3,500 posts now.
Yep.
Or 3,200.
Yep.
And so he posted something, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm here at work. I'm finishing up here. You want to go grab a coffee or something?" Actually, no, that's not true. I said, "You want to go grab a beer?"
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, sure, but let's go grab a coffee."
Okay.
So he suggested the coffee.
Yep.
So I met with him at one of the Aberdeen, maybe in Richmond there, mall, one of the malls there. I think it was Aberdeen. Anyway, met with him. 30 minutes turned into about 3 hours. And we shared some stuff together. I had some similarities and many like things that weren't similar, but there were some similarities there.
Sure.
And I've met a lot of people. I've interrogated or interviewed lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anyone like him. Anyone.
He is a very interesting fellow, isn't he?
Personally, for me, I've never met anyone like that. And the reason why he's interesting for me and why I've never met anyone like that is because he didn't know me from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy from Rosslyn, BC. He probably has no connection to anyone in the Indo-Canadian community, probably. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But these are the things that were going through my head, right?
Sure.
And I'm like, so what he did for me was he would Zoom call me 3-4 days a week, maybe even some weeks every single day for 2 hours a day.
Wow. Just of his own volition.
I needed some help. And I wasn't in a good spot. And I wasn't in a good spot. So he called and I would call him and then we would have conversations and then we'd discuss things and I would talk about what I want to do. He would essentially what he did was performance coach me out of where I was.
But you're in a place where you're ready to accept that too.
Yes. I was searching.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a mission to get help. I was looking for somewhere. Like I was like when I first met Seb 4 years ago is when I was kind of searching. I was gravitated towards Seb. I don't know why.
He's a strong leader.
Absolutely.
A very positive fellow.
Yeah. So when I saw Seb 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, okay. And I started kind of, learning and understanding certain things from his perspective. And anyway, so yeah, I met Sean and yeah, what he did was basically strip away the white noise and helped me realize and understand what kind of person I am and who I actually am and what I'm meant to do.
Wow.
No, and that's not bullshit.
People pay a lot of money to get to that why. I mean, Simon Sinek's got the golden circle or whatever it is and the why and finding your why. And he's probably one of the cheapest ones out there. But and probably one of the better ones from what I understand, but people spend thousands of dollars on easily.
So that's one of the conversations we had. He's like, I'm not going to give you an invoice, but you got work to do now. So Sean's not just a friend for me. He's my mentor. I talk to him not as much as I have in the past.
Sure.
But I do connect with him often to have conversations because it's fun to talk.
Totally.
And I enjoy his thought process and how he thinks. And I like to think like him one day.
It's funny that you were saying earlier about how your ego was out of control. And it was all about you. And all of a sudden there's this realization, and you don't know where it came from. Then it was, I got to be doing this for others. And you're raising money for the Legion. You're raising money for the Honor House. And Sean and I had a discussion about this as well, too. And I've heard polarizing opinions on it. People say, I'm in a bad place. I need to concentrate on me for a little bit. I got to fix me. And some people say, hold on a second. If you really want to fix you, look outward. Help other people. That will give your life some meaning or some purpose. I mean, Viktor Frankl wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that one.
I haven't read the book, but I've read pieces of what he's done.
Sure. And in so much as you have been finding great value in what Sean has been providing you, I'm willing to bet that Sean finds great value in what he's able to provide to you and assist you with. And watch how you're developing, because it is an interesting interconnectivity to all of us. And if all we're looking at is for our own self-interest, it's like that whole pursuit of happiness. The paradox is, as you try and pursue happiness, you're never going to be happy.
It's that you say that, man. I was asking Sean a question in one of our conversations, and I didn't know anything about Rosalind right? I don't know where it is. I know where it is now, but
Sure.
I didn't know where it was, why you'd want to live there. Like, no idea.
Yeah, mountain biking and skiing. If you're into that, you'll like Roslyn.
And I didn't know what 24-hour solos were when I was talking to him. Like, I had no freaking clue, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have no idea. I'm just like, what? Okay, whatever.
Sure.
But here's the fundamental truth, though. I'll get back to, before I forget, I want to mention this. Sean would be the only person on this planet that could have helped me.
Yeah.
I think so, because I wouldn't have listened to anyone else.
Right person, right time.
Because I couldn't say anything that would counter what he's been through. Mm-hmm. So I could say, oh, but this, that, and the other. And he'd go, oh yeah, but this. Mm-hmm. And so for an simple example, I could just talk about, let's say, a run. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh man, this run was tough. I couldn't do this, that, and the other. He goes, oh, did you die? I'm like, no. Did your leg fall off?
Yeah.
Okay, you could finish then.
That's right. Just a perspective shift.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that. Now, if someone else says that to me, I go, F you, man. You don't know what I can do.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was I couldn't. So
you die?
I was immediately disarmed talking to him because I couldn't argue with him. There was no argument to be had in terms of proving what I thought was correct because I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And it's allowing your ego to die in the process.
Yeah, look, my ego is still, it'll take years to kind of really, it's fine. But it comes out and it can get pretty aggressive and it can get pretty angry.
Sure.
So, but that'll, in time, everything kind of sorts itself out. And I've noticed that it is kind of sorting itself out.
Well, being able to recognize that is the first step, right? And the second you can see that something's kind of stepping out of control or in a direction that you don't like, now you got the ability to affect change. If you can't even see it happening, good luck,
Yeah.
right?
No. Well, before I'd have no intention. So now I have intention throughout the day. At least I try to. And I try to think about what I want to do. I don't free willy it anymore. You know what I mean? I don't like just like I try to have structure throughout what I try to do each day, and purpose behind it and meaning behind it. So I'm not wasting my time. And the reality is, I have zero time to waste. I'm 44. I don't want to run across Canada when I'm 50.
No,
Right? And
No.
I got a 2-year timeline. So that means there's zero time to waste. So that means I need to do everything that I need to do right now to galvanize as many people as possible around what we're trying to do so we can affect permanent positive change permanently. Like that's my goal. My goal is not to run across Canada. That's just a means of effecting permanent positive change. Because how I understand permanent positive change is exactly what Terry Fox did. If I run across Canada once and raise $1 million, great, cool, but who cares? It needs to happen forever. So really, that's the question, and I'm problem solving it backwards now.
See, you're getting close to my question that I've alluded to at the beginning, which is essentially, so Jason Budd, friend of mine, ex-British Army, has been on the podcast and sharing different stories. One of the things he talked about was in dealing with his own mental health, there is 4 pillars that kind of needed to be taken care of. Sleep was one of them, like crucial, big one that needed to be taken care of. Exercise and diet is another one. Yeah, I think that was kind of lumped together. One was like substance control, or making sure that nothing's in excess, even if it's coffee or whatever it might be, just keeping those things in control. But the last one was purpose. And as I'm listening and getting to know you, there is a big purpose in 2025, which leaves, in my head anyways, a question mark in 2026 and 2027. And where does that leave you and what you're doing? But it sounds like you've already thought of this. I'd love to hear it.
The rest of my life is this.
Yeah.
So after 2025, it'll be something else.
Okay.
It'd be something else after that. It'd be something else after that. I understand what I need to do at this point. I'm just trying to figure out the steps to do them.
Okay.
And how to lay the foundation for my future as well. Because I'm also 44. I got to think about what I'm going to do for the next 20 years of my life to support myself and things of that nature. But I want to do it in such a way that I'm happy So going back to the happy part in Rosslyn, when I was talking to Sean, I asked him a question. I go, why did you decide to move to Rosslyn, BC? Like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, he just looks at me and goes, bro, you're not going to find peace next to a babbling brook. Because he knew where I was going with the question. I was like, why did you go to Rosslyn? Was it to find, like, very, very small thinking, right? And
Not necessarily.
well, it was the thinking I had at the moment. And when he said that, I was like, okay, cool. Okay, so then I reflect on a lot of. I sit and ruminate a lot, right? And I think about what people are saying, and I reflect. And he was absolutely right. And I'm not searching for happiness now. I already know how to get it, and I'm already there. I'm doing what I love to do right now, which is awesome.
You're embracing the challenge.
I am all in now, and it took me some time to get here. And it's not like I'm without challenges. My main challenge, really, that's the harder one, is the financial piece. All the other stuff, trying to figure out how to build things, is kind of fun. You know, build a YouTube channel, get the director for the documentary, get this, get that, get this, get that. Cool. Financially, it's been a struggle. Because I don't have much money, because I'm doing a lot of this. I'm paying for everything on my own. And then also funds from my workplace are going to probably stop at some point because I'm going to leave the job. I'm currently working from home right now. And but I'm still transitioning out of the workplace. So it's, so my goal is to eventually, in terms of personally, for my own personal happiness, to have this YouTube channel and just to have these challenges that I always do and just document. And then that way people can also see that we're continuously raising money for Honor House.
Interesting.
So the YouTube channel will be a direct source to charity. And then I can also receive an income through that too. I don't need a lot of money. All I need to make, to be honest, is 50 grand a year. If I can make 50 grand a year, pay my bills, I don't need much more. And if I'm doing all the things that make me happy, cool. Then I'm good. I really don't need much. I suspect, though, based on the trajectory of what's happened in the past year alone and the growth and the reach that's been happening, it's inevitable that it'll be beyond that.
You know, it's funny. A friend of mine, she's really into metrics on her business and key performance indicators and spreadsheets and charts. And she's going through this stuff, and she'll ask me questions about my business and what are you doing over here? And what are these numbers like? And what's your, and she's throwing out some terms I've never even heard of, right? And I'm like, I don't know, right? I say, what do you mean you don't? And truthfully, I tell her, I say, you know, and I've mentioned this before in the podcast, I don't think about the money. The money is a byproduct of hard work and effort and providing value to others. So you can put all the time and hard work and effort into something, but if you're providing nothing of value that anybody else can find in there, you can't expect a remuneration or an exchange of goods or services for a lack of value. If you're able to look at the end product from sort of a macro perspective and what value you're going to be bringing an individual, a community, a group, whatever it might be, an organization, and you bring that value, that money will be a byproduct of it. Now, I've got the luxury of being able to surround myself with some people who can look at the accounting and look at things and step in when needed. But I think if I took a different perspective and I was always looking at that money, I would always be behind it. I'd always be chasing it because there's always more that could be had or different ways you can squeeze it out. And I'm not looking at the value that I'm bringing others. Like this podcast, I don't monetize it. I don't make a dime for this podcast. My whole goal is to bring value either through education or entertainment to the end user.
Well, and all awesome points. And I think that for me, my purpose isn't to make money.
Right. You're chasing a greater purpose.
Yeah, so
money will be a byproduct of what you're doing.
Which is fine. So if money was my purpose, then I would do something different.
Sure. There's always that, right?
But money's not my purpose. My purpose is greater than myself. It's not about me. Zero to do with me. Because if it had to do with me, I wouldn't be doing it. Because it's really hard.
Though that's exactly it. And it would only be feeding back into that whole ego thing that you were trying to quell.
And I'm still on that journey, right? And I'm still understanding who I am, and I'm still figuring that out, right? I'm 44 and I'm still trying to figure it out. And all I want to do is move in the direction of being a better person every single day and being the best version of myself every single day. That is it. Whatever happens around that, awesome.
So with the YouTube channel, you're going to be able to provide daily documentation sort of things, quick shorts, provide obstacles you're encountering and how you're overcoming them. And like there's value in just that, right? In being able to have a community of people who are looking to better themselves. And likewise, like you don't strike me as the type of person who's coming across as saying, I have the answers, but you say, I'm on a journey and you're welcome to join me.
And I'm more than happy to have people on my YouTube channel who may have some answers.
Right.
And then ask them.
Sure.
And because I think, look, I'm just a guy, man. Like I'm not a tier 1 operator. I'm not a ERT team leader. I'm not any of these things, right? I'm just a guy who has a couple skill sets that I'm trying to maximize. That's pretty much it.
But isn't that the same for everybody?
Absolutely. And so I think that's kind of the messaging I would like to kind of provide is that just maximize your skills. Whatever those skills are, try to maximize them the best you can. And at least from my experience, it's a fulfilling thing to see what you're capable of.
Totally.
Like I can run 50K a day right now, man.
But you're not doing it by yourself.
No, but in my head, what I'm thinking is like, I couldn't run 5K 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So the reality is, in another year and a half, I'll go from 0 kilometers of running to potentially for sure, 80K a day.
Wow.
Like anything is possible with a little bit of grit, a little bit of consistency and determination. I'm like, proof is in the pudding right here.
Are you finding that as you grow through this, as you grow as a runner, as you're going through this journey yourself, that it is starting to alienate some people that you used to hang around?
It's hard for me to know for sure because the people I used to hang around kind of disappeared before a lot of what's happening.
Sure.
So it's hard to say. I do sometimes lately, and I suspect over the next few years it's going to be a lot more, feel like a party favor sometimes.
Okay.
I talk about myself all the time.
Right.
And not because I want to, it's because I need to get the message out.
You're trying to promote something.
Yeah, I want everyone to know the story, but I also don't want to talk about myself all the time.
Sure.
And everywhere I go, people are like, I have to bring it up if they don't know. And then once they know, they start asking the questions, or they'll just start asking. So it's a constant sort of thing. All I'm talking about is myself and what we're doing, which is awesome because I'm obsessed and that's the goal.
Sure.
But I can see how it could be not as pleasant for someone else, and maybe someone else doesn't want to be sitting around me because that's all I talk about. And
well, that's always the difficult dichotomy between trying to promote, whether it's your business or yourself or whatever it is that you're trying to do, or an external thing, something else, trying to promote that and be humble and ego-free in the process. And it's like, where's that balance? And I find the more you progress down your path that I've been watching you on, the more other people are doing the talking for you. And that allows you to be able to just concentrate on what you want to do. And as other people talk about it, it seems to build more momentum and maybe even more of a mystique, because maybe they might put their own inflections on that you might not necessarily do.
Yeah. No, I think I want to speak to that for a second, like in terms of like people raising me up or supporting me, or because this is kind of, for me, over the last month has been a new sort of metric that I've been recognizing.
Sure.
And it took me a little bit of time to kind of wrap my head around and understand how to receive it. And I'll explain what I mean by that. I don't have a lot of money.
Sure.
maybe $3 in my bank account the other day.
Yeah.
Right. And no complaining. This is the journey that I'm on.
It's all part of it.
It's all part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
And I'm actually happy about it because it means this story will mean more, right? But having said that, and I'm fully transparent with everyone. Anytime I talk to them, this is what's going on, this, all these things. And my daughter's 5.
Yeah.
And I started jiu-jitsu 2 months before she was born, March 2017. And I wanted to learn jiu-jitsu for a few reasons. I've always wanted to, and I also wanted to teach my daughter jiu-jitsu because I think it's a fundamental skill that everyone should know, swimming and jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
And so I started, and close to my house, there's a school called Gracie Baja. It's in White Rock.
Yeah.
And now I don't go to there. That's not my actual academy where I used to go.
Sure.
But I would drop in there from time to time, and I have friends that train there and things of that nature. And over the last 5 years, I've made connections with people there.
Sure.
And a few weeks ago, I went to drop in to say hi to the professor. Professors are the instructors, and Eddie, awesome guy. And talked to him and a few of the other guys there. And Eddie hadn't seen me in some time, and he's our age, in and around 40, 50 years old or something like that. And he was like, "Oh man, it's awesome to see you. We should go out for dinner, this, that, and the other." I was like, "Yeah, man, let's schedule it right now. Otherwise, we won't."
Sure.
So I scheduled it, and I met up with him, and we went for dinner. First time ever going to dinner with him. And he was talking to me about don't stop doing what you're doing. I was like, "Okay, man." And he kept repeating it. And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool. It's okay." And he went on to share some personal things that he normally wouldn't share with people, but he felt comfortable enough to share with me because of, I guess, the journey that I'm on. And he isn't a social media guy. So he mentioned to me, he heard me on a podcast, and as soon as he said that, I was like, "What?" Someone must have sent it to him or something, right? And he said it really resonated with him. And so he owns a couple schools, and he was like, "Your daughter never has to pay for a jiu-jitsu class."
Wow.
And for me, that's a big deal.
Wow. Hell yes. That's massive.
For me, that's a really, it touched me quite a bit. And so anyways, he said that, and I was like, "Man, that's awesome. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that." And so that's just one part of that story. And I'm also planning, I made a connection with Depot 2 or 3 weeks ago at RCMP training facility in Regina. And I was trying to figure out ways to get the message out even further. And I thought it would be a great idea if I can go there and speak to the recruits and talk to them and let them know what I'm doing and maybe take them out on a run. So this is where the networking starts coming in, right? And Seb, I know, is friends with one of the recruiters out there, and he's also on Instagram, Real Cops for Real Life. Steven, awesome guy. I messaged him, and he and I had a chat for about 45 minutes on IG, Instagram video thing. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, "Okay, you're coming to Regina, and you're going to take a bunch of troops out for a run, and we're going to talk about what you're doing, this, that, and the other." And I was floored by that, and then I was like, "Awesome." So in my head, I'm like, "How am I going to pay for that?" Because it's going to be like a $1,500 trip, right?
That's right.
And it's $800 to fly there and hotel and whatnot. And
are they going to put you up?
They're not paying for anything. And I don't expect them to.
Sure.
It's opening the door. Step one, 1% every day, right? So it's fine. So Steven, awesome guy, the recruiter, he said, "Don't worry about where you're staying. You can stay at my place. I'll give you the other car, the extra car. You just drive it around wherever you need to go."
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, so that's covered. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it, man." All based off of, I guess, what I'm doing and trying to raise me up. And then, so now I'm talking to Eddie still at dinner. And I was mentioning about the Depot stuff. And he's like, "Okay, I got your ticket."
No.
So I started explaining everything. He goes, "Bro, you think it's right?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're fine." So he said, just come to the school on Friday and I'll have the money for you. So I went to go pick it up and he had $810 cash.
Wow.
So I can pay for the ticket.
The universe unfolds as it should.
Right? And that's just that was just one. Then I went that following week. So that's why recently I've been more like this because
Sure.
money's not stressing me as much because now it's just appearing now.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, appearing or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presenting.
And so a couple weeks ago when I was in Lake Country with Jared, I was up there to do 21K Spartan race.
Okay.
And it was, just to have fun and whatever. And I didn't have enough money to go. I had about $160 in my account or something. And I was like, my car isn't the best car. And I didn't want to drive it up there because that probably would have cost me more.
Yes.
Right?
Especially at gas prices the way they are now.
That and breaking down. It's a hot mess, right?
Yeah.
And so the universe, man. I have a friend of mine who's been a really good friend for the last couple of years, and her sister works for Air Canada. So I got a buddy pass for $150 round trip. So
Wow.
I bought that. Had a couple bucks, $10 left in my account, so it was good. And then I got there, and Jared just moved to Lake Country.
Yep.
And I met him through the mental health walks that Seb does.
Mm-hmm.
So just coincident, he's like, "Yeah, bro, stay at my place. I'll drive you around." It just happened.
Yeah.
So then now I'm in Lake Country, and so I also have a group of friends from Edmonton that were coming down to do the Spartan race.
Mm-hmm.
And they're part of a big community of people that do good things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And because they have a WhatsApp group of about 80 people in it, and about 10 of them came down, and they were like, "Hey, Sach, we're gonna go to this place for lunch on Friday. Come join us." I was like, "I'd love to, guys, but I'm in Lake Country. I'm not gonna ask Jared to drive me back and forth, and I don't have enough money to cab it. And I'll see you at the race. We're good." And a couple hours later, Sarah, who I've met once when I went to Edmonton to meet these people and hang out, said, "What's your email address? I'm transferring you travel expenses."
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" So I gave her my email and she transferred me $200 to help me out while I was just there. And so then I felt awkward.
I can see that.
For me, right or wrong, I've felt like people have taken advantage of me from various different times in my life. So I don't want anyone feeling like I'm doing that to them.
Sure.
Right? And I was talking to Jared about this. And I was like, "Fuck, Jared, man. How do I take this, man? How do I receive this?" And he's, "Man, your perspective is slightly wrong here."
Interesting.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "You double down. They give you money. They help you out. You go harder. You go more. And you got to think of it differently. It's not that they're pitying or like anything like that. That's their way of contributing to the cause and the mission."
Totally. People like to back a winning horse, right?
Well, and absolutely. But for me, it was a process to get there. For me to understand that, because I've never been around that. And for Jared to help me out in understanding that was
That's a big...
It was important.
It's kind of like that goofy old joke about a person who's the town's flooding.
Yeah.
You heard that one?
No.
He's at the front door, person drives by. He's like, "Starting to flood. I'll get drunk, jump in the truck," right? And he's like, no. My God will save me, right?
Yeah.
And then he's water's halfway up the house and a boat comes by and same thing. No. Then he's on the roof and a helicopter comes by. No. And then he's in heaven because he's drowned. And what happened? I sent you a truck and a boat and a helicopter. Why didn't you take it, right? And these things come along in life, and quite often our pride gets in the way. And I can see that. No, I don't want to take it. And then you become more reclusive and you go away. And
So a year ago, I wouldn't have accepted any of it.
totally.
Sean Taylor helped me months ago with being okay with sorting out the ego piece. He helped me understand that, hey man, it's not about you. If you don't have money, just be honest. Like, why are you hiding? Like, who are you trying to prove to? Like, what's going on? No, but it's reality, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would I lie about it? Yeah, I don't have money, but it's not because I'm lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just because of the nature of what I'm doing.
Yep.
So I have had to connect with many different people to help me understand a lot of different things because my mindset wasn't anywhere involved in these types of ideas. So what I've been doing with some of the guidance and, like suggestions from Sean is actively going out and meeting people. So like when it first started, I didn't like meeting people.
Sure.
I stay by myself, whatever. I didn't feel comfortable. So what I started doing was my Instagram. I would just randomly talk to people and just be like, hey, you want to go for a coffee? And then I would just go for
Really?
coffee. Yeah. Just, hey, you want to go for coffee?
And these are people that you know, or these are just maybe you don't know?
Just through Instagram, that I kind of either acquaintance,
Right.
or friends.
Sure.
But they were mostly less, not quite friends.
Sure.
So I would just engage with people and meet them and talk to them and learn from them and understand their perspectives and people that I would never talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of people like that. Like
Hugely eye-opening.
Let me rephrase that though. There were people that I would normally not have spoken to.
Right. Based on how you were in the past.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, that was massive. And there were bumps in the road for sure because my ego would get in the way in having conversations with these people. And I was listening to you and Sean talk on the podcast yesterday. There's striking similarities more so than not, right? So I noticed in my experience, we're way more similar than we aren't. We just have different ways of saying things. And we may be on different like parts of the same journey. So like someone may be further along than the other, but we're all going in the same direction.
That's right.
And so for me, it's just reminding myself of that a lot too, and understanding that. And then, just being more, I'm trying to be more compassionate. It's a very massive tenet in the Sikh religion as well, right? And the word's called Daya, D-A-Y-A, and it's compassion.
Okay.
It's a fundamental tenet. You got to be compassionate. So I haven't been.
So how does that manifest itself? Like when you talk about being compassionate?
Empathy. I want to be able to put myself into someone else's shoes and not judge them.
Okay.
And I want to, how else does that mean? Compassionate. Giving grace to people.
Okay.
Right? And I guess that's a Christian term, but
I'm not sure. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, but I think, so grace, not judging, all these things, like just being more, I feel more now too, actually, since I've been working on myself. I'm way more emotional than I ever have been. Like I was a wall, but now I can cry fairly easy now, which I'm kind of happy about. I think I'm just I feel like I'm kind of like an empath. Like I feel a lot of people's energy, and I can sense things sometimes. I don't know. It sounds kind of strange and woo-woo, but
not really. You're open to it now.
Yeah, and maybe over the years of working in law enforcement for 18 years and really honing my craft and what I was good at, I was very observant, and I'd like to pay attention to people's behaviors and the change of behaviors, and then responding based on that. So if I feel it sounds like feeling energy, but I'm probably subconsciously observing a change of behavior and what's going on.
Your verbal, your paraverbal, your nonverbal, your body language, what you said, how you said it, the intonation and inflection.
Absolutely.
And all those things come in, but there is that gut feeling that goes with all of that, and that's based off past experiences and how you've seen things unfold. Last time I saw a person go all red in the face and start clenching their fists, they were angry, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's man, that's kind of what's been happening over the last little while, man. It's been a trip, man. It's been a trip.
Well, they say, okay, so you're saying like you're kind of like a wall. I say a person's getting angry.
Yeah.
Okay, there's all these psychological and physiological responses, right? And the heart rate's going up, and you're getting angry, your breathing's changing, your mind's racing, and there's all this energy that comes in. How much energy does it take to put that wall up and to stop it?
I'll tell you exactly, about 400 calories burned in about 10 minutes.
There you go. Where do you get that metric from?
My whoop strap. No, I'll tell you, when I was really dealing with major stress,
Sure.
I monitor all my metrics.
Sure.
Because I'm active, I'm working, I'm trying to train properly, and I would see. So this Whoop strap would, when your heart rate elevates, even if you're not working out, and it elevates for a long duration of time, it'll track it. And I'd be at work talking to someone in a low risk scenario, but for some reason
Going up.
I would burn, like let's say in a half an hour, it'd be like running 5K.
Wow.
And I would look at my thing and be, what the heck's going on? But I would have a response.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that, even though the wall is up and I'm talking to somebody and maybe they're being rude or nothing major, but just being a dick. Right?
Yeah.
And it would be me controlling myself, not wanting to get angry as my response, because I'm not a flight, I'm more of a fight.
Sure.
And but containing everything, but I would feel it, my heart, I would feel it, and I'd feel a little bit of sweat and the heart rate and all these things, but you wouldn't be able to really see me acting on it.
Is all you're feeling is love back on the Instagram and social media that you're putting out? Or are you getting people that are hating on you?
I don't know. I don't know why they want to hate on me. I'm just doing something nice.
No, I get it.
I've been noticing all like very, very supportive.
Awesome.
Very, it's humbling, man.
Awesome.
Honestly, it's humbling, man. It makes some days it brings tears to my eyes based on where I was a year ago. If I look at the delta over the last 12 months, it's like, wow, man, I made it this far in just year.
No kidding.
In a year, man. It's amazing what can happen in a year of just working on things. And I get messages fairly frequently now on my Instagram, people DMing me on just positive messages or, hey, I heard this, or hey, man, can you help me out with this? And I'm like, fuck, man, like, it's nuts. It's
That's
awesome.
pretty cool.
It's awesome, man.
And that's pretty neat because everyone talks about, how social media can be negative, and you can't expect to be growing as a person or as a business or as a whatever it might be without seeing change happen around you. And anytime you stick your finger in the bowl of water, you're going to see some ripples, right? And if all you're getting back from that is positivity, more power to you. Keep it rolling.
Speaking of ripples, I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but I want to mention this for sure before we go, because I have before I start, and this plan to run across Canada has been really, it's a 5-year plan, right? And I started it a year and a half, 2 years ago. Nothing's deviated other than the only thing that's changed is I'm making it harder.
How are you making it harder?
Because initially I was thinking I just wanted to do what Terry Fox did.
Oh, now you want to beat the record.
Yeah. Because I can run 42K a day now.
Right.
So if I have another year and a half, what can I do? Because the goal was to run in 2025, but after a year of training, I can run 50K now. It won't be easy, but I'll grind it out for 4 or 5 months. I could do that. I could do it. And so then I thought, oh shit, man, if I can do that right now, how much more can I do if I train, leave my job, focus 100%, hire this person, do all the things. What can I do then? That's why I feel very confident based on what I did last year with nothing. And then what I'm doing now with a little bit. And then what I'm going to do over the next year with a lot more. So I just want to see what I'm capable of. I want to see what I can do. I don't know if I can break the record, and the likelihood is not that great. Because if you look statistically.
It's not going to happen if you don't set that in your sights as a goal.
But it's my ultimate goal.
Right.
To do it. I'm training to do it. I've hired a phenomenal coach, Ron Lowen. He's like fast as shit. Like he's getting my time down because what I need to do is not just run a lot of Ks, but I got to run those Ks in a certain amount of time. So my pace can't be like 8 minutes per kilometer running 100K. That's not, it's got to be like 5.5 minutes per kilometer, which is nuts.
Yes, it is.
Which is nuts. And Dave Proctor was doing 6 minutes per kilometer.
Wow.
For 67 days, which is nuts. So for me to do what he did, and he was an ultra endurance athlete his entire life. He's done 30, 40, 50 marathons and all these other things. I'm just an athlete trying to do something and see if I can do something remarkable if given the time. So I'm just like seeing what's possible, right? And that's the story. I think there's so many stories here.
Sure.
But I think if we can if I can share anything at any point, not now because I'm still in it, but maybe in a few years down the road, once everything's all said and done, I can sit back and say, hey man, look, it is possible. Proof's in the pudding. This is where I was. This is where I'm at now. This is where this is happening. This is how many millions of dollars are going over here. This is how many millions of people are affected by what we're doing. Like, it will be a failure if it's not permanent and like over a period of time, in my eyes.
This sounds like you got a book in the works too.
So we're working on the documentary now too, right?
Good.
So that started, preliminary shooting started Sunday.
Okay.
And we're going to slowly start building on it and track everything for the next 2-3 years. And yeah, book, whatever will help more people and get the message out, I'm up for, right? And I wanted to mention these 3 things. I only set 3 personal goals for myself.
Okay.
Like not even goals, 3 personal things I want to achieve.
Okay.
And they weren't monetary at all. And this might seem a bit interesting for you and maybe the listeners. And I think it's, anyways, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's going to sound, and this is what I said to myself a year and a half ago when I first started. I'm going to have Cameron Haynes run 50K with me when I'm running across Canada. I'm going to have David Goggins run 50K with me when I run across Canada. And the reasons are this. I'll get to the third one.
Okay.
The reasons are this. I would have never known it was a thing had I not heard Cameron Haynes. So I think it would be awesome if I could tell him that he has a hand in helping millions of people. And that's a gift I'd like to be able to give him. Same thing for David Goggins. I wouldn't have started running had I not read those first 2 chapters. And again, what we're about to do will affect a lot of people. And I think it would be an awesome thing to be able to share that with someone who inspired me to do that. Or not inspired me, motivated me to do that.
Sure.
And then number 3, in 2026, I'll be on Joe Rogan's podcast.
2026.
Yeah, that's going to happen. The reason is
Awesome.
this. The reason is this. Whatever people say about that podcast, I think it's a good platform if you want it to be. And for me, like in terms of his show.
Very much so.
And I think for me, I've always wanted to do jiu-jitsu. Joe Rogan was a massive fan, so he always talked about it. It pushed me over the fence, and I started jiu-jitsu. I would have never known who Cameron Haynes was had he not been on that podcast. I would have never known who David Goggins was if he wasn't on the podcast. So I'd love to be able to go on that podcast, not to talk about me, not to share whatever else, is to give him the gift that he inspired and motivated someone to help a whole shit ton of people. And I think I'll make that happen too. And I think those are the 3 things that I want to make sure actually happen.
I can see each and every one of those things happening. And the only way they'll happen is if you set them as a goal. They don't just happen by happenstance. It doesn't just fall in your lap. And if it does, there are reasons why these things came up to you. I can see each one of those happening for sure.
Absolutely, man. And I think now I'm taking more of a responsibility on a lot of things, and how I kind of think of things now is like, look, when I do all this stuff, the reality is it'll change my life for sure.
Change your life,
and
change
everyone's
your daughter's life, those around you, your
every
family,
single person
your
around me,
friends.
every single person's life around me.
A rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah, and I think that's an amazing responsibility that I'm actually owning now, which will help inspire and motivate and drive me even more. Right? It'll push me even harder. I add more things to motivate myself. You want to know another thing that I'm adding? Because I have to put these extra things on to get me to freaking go.
Okay.
Once I retire from the agency
and
I get my pension, I'm donating 100% of it. I don't want it. I want it to help other people. Right? So Now that sounds crazy, and people go, "Oh, what are you gonna do for life or your money and this, that, and the other?" Look, I'll figure that out because I'm doing that right now. So the goal is to make a substantial amount of money so I can donate all of that money, and I don't need it, right? So that'll push me and drive me to really. At least that's how I frame it in my head, because I set that goal.
Yeah.
If I don't have that goal there, it's not going to be an imagination. Like I won't think of like that pension will be worth $2 million.
Sure.
So it's just a number.
It is just a number.
Right. So people and when I say people, I've told people this and they're like, wow, they all freak out. I'm like, look, man, I'm good with $50K a year.
And that's a good realization to find out what it is that drives you, what makes you happy. Fight Club, what you own owns you, right? The more things that you have, the more you want to accumulate, the more you're going to be owned by that.
Right.
Jim Carrey, when he was young, he's like, I'm writing myself a check for $1 million. I'm going to cash it at this date. And he set all this whole goal and process, and he achieved it. And it made for a neat story and all the rest. And he later goes on and says, that was a fun role playing Jim Carrey, right? That was fun. I was lucky to be able to get that part, and people all laugh. And he says, things have changed, right? Famously says, I want everyone to have all the money in the world so they can realize that it does not bring you happiness. But the goal setting of what you're looking to achieve tends to change as you start progressing down that path. I've seen in many people. And if you're able to identify now that money is not the motivator for you, you're going to have everything you need. It'll all work out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like I've as soon as I established that and what I need to live, then it was simple, because it makes it easier to make the decision, right? Then I can figure out how do I get that money, so I can live the life that I want to live, right? So let's say if it's $50K, well, okay, let me write some proposals, let me get some investors, let me get some sponsors, let me do blah 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 blah, and then I can start actively doing things. So now I've created something. Over a year time that I can actually present to people and say, hey man, this is what I'm doing. I need help. Is anyone willing to invest in, let's say, the documentary? Or maybe someone wants to sponsor me as an athlete who's doing something, and maybe you can contribute to the cause, a couple thousand here, 1,000 there, or whatever it is.
Yep.
So now with the website, which is up today, which is, I don't know what the date is, but it's up today.
Yeah.
There's going to be a section on the website where people can do that. And they can, if someone wants to be a sponsor, they can click on there and give their information. I can contact them and we can go from there.
Right.
There's also a section where if people want to volunteer for some of the stuff that we're doing, they can fill that out and they can help. Because I'm going to have multiple things happening throughout the years over the next, like, this is not going to be a small thing.
It doesn't happen all by yourself.
No, and I need lots of help. And look, I already have my plan for what I'm going to do for next Run to Remember. Already. I'm going to run from Ashcroft, BC to New Westminster, 345K in 3 days.
Holy crow.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
So I'll do that too. And we'll document all that. I'm going to Toronto on the 12th of October to run on the Toronto Waterfront Marathon October 16th. I'm doing that to pace somebody that I've met through social media who's not an avid runner, but they started, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to meet new people and go out there and fly. And that I planned that a few months ago. And now it's turning into something else. Like people found out I was coming. Some people have registered for the marathon just because I'm going to be there and they want to hang out and just do cool things. And Toronto Police Service, a few people that I know there are connecting with me and they want to, kind of hang out and do like a 5K run and like these different things. And then my director, videographer, he's coming. He's filming the entire thing while we're there. He's going to interview people. So it's
hopefully he can run.
No, he's got some work. He's got some work to do, man. We were filming on Sunday. It was awesome. He's like, "Hey, man, so I'm going to run next to you. Just don't run so fast." I go,
how's that going to look on camera? Come on.
Yeah, man, it's got to look. But anyways, it's just honestly, I feel extremely honored. I feel extremely, I feel blessed, man. I don't know why I feel like. Let me rephrase that. I feel blessed, and I know why. Because I'm finally able to start living my purpose. And I'm acting and speaking as my authentic self. For my entire life, that hasn't been the case. So you can see me as I'm slightly fidgety. The camera can kind of see it, and I kind of look all over the place when I talk and stuff. Now, I've only started doing that over the last couple of years more because I'm taking the wall down. And for most of my life, I hadn't shown those behaviors. I controlled them all. My dad, when I was young, my brother is 3 years older than me. My brothers, we all have our own issues, mental health wise, I think. And my brother, he taps his foot a lot. Tap, 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 tap. And as a young kid, my dad would rip him. And he shows weakness. What are you doing? Blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I heard my dad say that. And I stopped. I controlled every sort of fidget.
Excellent containment.
Yeah. And now I'm like, no, man. And I remember when I used to go into meetings I used to be very involved in the union. And I would have meetings with management, and I would always be very composed and controlled. And after those meetings, exhausted.
Sure.
Exhausted. I was like, why am I so exhausted? Because I was controlling everything. Mentally exhausted. So now I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to be who I am. If people think I'm weird, whatever. If people think I'm fidgety, whatever. If people think I'm not really looking at them or whatever it is. I don't care anymore because it doesn't matter.
It's kind of neat reaching that point in your life where you just stop caring. Caring about what other people think, caring about other opinions, caring about external things to you, and just caring about what it is that you're able to provide and you're able to do and how you're able to positively affect those around you.
I mean, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome, just the way you say it, right? Like it's, man, I'll say it a million times. I just feel fortunate. I feel super fortunate.
I am really looking forward to watching and tracking your progress through here. I'm going to have all this stuff up on the show notes in the podcast on YouTube. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should talk about before we wrap up here?
No, I think everything's going to be on the podcast, all the links and everything. So no, I just want everyone to understand. No, what do I want? I just appreciate anyone who's listening to this, and I appreciate you for having me on to be able to speak about what I'm doing, and I just look forward to many more years of doing something like this, and I appreciate you and everyone who's listening.
Sachin, the pleasure is all mine. I'm looking forward to watching you grow.
Thank you so much, bro.